episode of the Side Talk Podcast. I am your host, Knuckles87, and with me today is our esteemed elder, Shigs.
Buddy, firearms doing better enough. I'm actually sitting on my chair, although it's getting numb from time to time, so it's still not 100%, but I'm getting there.
All right, good to know that your old man body is slowly recovering. And also our resident Crank GX.
Let's make good use of our time tonight because I have only so much time that you can afford of my brain toll.
All right, sure. Whatever you say.
So okay, okay. Do we have to go over this and what exactly I'm referring to?
Yeah, probably.
SEGA this week, you know how every so often SEGA comes up with the stupidest name for something that already exists?
Oh, right. You were discussing this in the Discord. Go on.
Today, one of their divisions came up with the phrase brain toll, a portmanteau of brain and rental.
And I was all like, isn't this just like
consulting?
I forget if I said analyst.
Yeah, this is consulting. You pay someone to borrow their time, and they had to give it the name. But no, we developed this thing called brain toll, where if you're a business or a government, you can buy the time of our game developers, and we will help you on whatever you're asking for. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? This is the same SEGA that problem is I have a rant, but a lot of my rant was stated on another podcast I listened to because I don't want to feel like I'm cribbing on them, but it hits my same brain space as Super Game and Fog Gaming. They just do one of these every so often. It's like, what are you doing? This is a thing, or it's not a thing, or it just sounds like it's a scam.
I don't know. Like it is just supremely weird that they keep making up these terms and stuff for. I don't know. What seems to be is like basic bog standard stuff, and maybe it's for the investors. I don't know.
They invented data centers and called it fog gaming. They were going to convert their arcade machines into data centers and then sold off all their arcades. I don't know.
Well, anyway, so in addition to discussing things on the Discord, you've also been playing some video games, I assume.
Am I kicking things off?
Some lovely, precious video games.
Okay, so here's my pitch. Here's the pitch for this. Do you like Hades?
Yes, I do.
What if Hades, but you put the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles license over it? That is the end of the pitch.
Wait, is that what Splintered Fate is?
Splintered's Fate is extremely Hades. Like, it is astoundingly just Hades.
That was just another beat 'em up.
No, there's been a couple. Like, this is... So, Splintered Fate started as an Apple Arcade game. There's been a couple of other Ninja Turtles branded games. I think between its original Apple Arcade release and now, I believe most of them were associated with the most recent animated film. But I think Splintered Fate is most in alignment with the IDW comic plot. But I don't follow the IDW comic that much, so I'm mostly going off of secondhand information there. But the degree to which it is just Hades is astounding.
So it's like a roguelike thing.
Yep,
with
it's an action roguelike.
A lengthy story.
Yep, it's an action roguelike, fully voice acted, lots of dialogue. You basically, hey, Splinter's been kidnapped. It's a Ninja Turtles game. Yes, once again, Splinter has been kidnapped.
Man, you think for like the strongest guy in there, he wouldn't get kidnapped so much.
He sure gets kidnapped a lot. But
Rat nap.
But yeah, you basically every run starts off with, hey, you're leaving the lair. You have to fight through the sewers. You make your way to the docks, the streets, rooftops,
Oh,
etc.
good. So it's not just all underground.
No, no, no. And it kind of takes place at this time where there's a weird multi-faction fight going on. Obviously, a lot of it is tied to the Foot Clan, but for some reason, the punk frogs are sort of taking to the streets. I guess in this continuity, Baxter Stockman was elected as mayor of New York, which
Oh,
continues New
great.
York's terrible, terrible run of electing mayors. Uh,
Why is New York so bad at that?
so a lot of it is like, hey, you're gonna be fighting mousers, you're gonna be fighting mutant rats, you're gonna be fighting foot soldiers, mutant frogs.
Like the third criminal they voted for now. Sorry, go on.
No, I know the joke I was making was political, so. But yeah, a lot of what you do in that game is just the things that you do in Hades, and that might sound dismissive, but like it's a pretty competent attempt at being Hades. Like I don't say that with any sort of disdain. It's just kind of, hey, a lot of the things that this game does is just taken from Hades and replicated reasonably competently.
I'm gonna be honest. You've already sold me on it, especially since it's on Apple Arcade, which means I don't have to pay
I don't
for
think
it.
it's on Apple Arcade anymore. I'm currently
No, I don't want to have to pay money.
too bad. And then stop paying Apple Arcade, I guess. But
Oh no! Oh wait, no. Okay. No, they've still got Splintered
oh,
Fate.
okay. Well, then it
They have
also
they have Shredder's Revenge. Ooh.
you haven't
Okay, I'm gonna
played
get that.
Shreddered Revenge yet?
I have not because
Really? Because that's one of the best.
Oh yeah, it kicks ass.
I'm only a modest fan of TMNT and beat 'em ups.
Okay.
So
But back to this, like,
the most I've done was download it on Xbox Pass, Game
Give
Pass.
you a good reason
Haven't gotten
for.
to it yet.
I'll give you a good reason for Shredder's Revenge. T. Lope's soundtrack.
yeah, very good soundtrack. Uh
That's always a good reason. But if I'm being honest, Hades sounds way more interesting to me than beat 'em up.
no, it's pretty good. You effectively it's a little more limited than Hades, but it hits a lot of the very similar beats. You pick one of the four key turtles. Unlike Hades, where your weapon selection wildly changes how you approach the game, the turtles are a little bit like nuanced but pretty similar. Hey, it adjusts like, okay, what's your range going to be? Like Michelangelo is going to have really big range, hits really quick, but not necessarily the strongest. So if you can build him up so that he does bonus damage per hit, that's going to be pretty good. Raph is really good at snagging critical hits, but his range really sucks. So you're going to have to get in and maybe try to tank through a lot of damage.
So I'm guessing you have the different turtles instead of the different weapons that you
Yeah,
have in Hades.
exactly. It has a similar elemental system to Hades, where each elemental system, basically each element in the game, which is like fire, water, I think ooze is one of them. They have some fancy name for electric. I- ult, I don't remember, Ultrom or something, Ultom or something like that. It's basically
Um,
electricity.
yeah, I think that's the name of the aliens. Ultams? Ultams?
No, that's
Uh.
something different.
Two Toms.
Yeah,
Oh, all right. Well, it sounded similar.
yeah, but
The way you were
basically like
saying it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Utom. So if I can remember correctly.
it's been too long since I've seen. Yeah, Utrom. Thank you, thank you, chat. But yeah. It usually benefits you from stacking as many of the same element or finding different elemental powers that that sort of coordinate with each other. So again, something that you would often do with Hades, a, a set of the powers that you can do will stack additional effects onto enemies that will damage over
Hmm.
time. So you might continue to, let's say you're pursuing fire.
Uh, the the Utroms are the aliens. That was
Yeah.
right.
Um, but what it'll do is, hey, you get an ability that says every attack does fire or every dash does fire. And then you get another ability in fire that says, hey, if you do fire, it's going to inflict a burn status that you can stack. And burn status does additional damage over time. And then from there, you can continue to upgrade those or find other things that cause additional burn statuses or cause the stack to get higher for each attack so that you're trying to basically coordinate and make something, that's going to be more formidable and help you get around. In this game, I
Hmm.
think if it differentiates itself from Hades in one significant way, uh, it's it doesn't really highlight individual hits when you're getting hurt very well. There's
Oh.
a lot
Hmm.
of
That sounds like there might be a consequence of it starting as a mobile
it's
game.
very possible. Rather than like really looking at enemies and seeing how enemies react, it will give you these big flashy warnings on not what that the enemy's about to do an attack, but just this is the attack range that this enemy will impact. So as you go
Hmm.
through, you're just going to see these big circles on the ground. It's like, okay, an enemy's going to attack with damage that will hit within this circle. So I'm going to need to get out of the way. So immediately, dashing's really important in Hades, but it becomes immediately important in Splintered Fate. And you
Hmm.
can stack quite a few dashes up, even more so than I was used to in most runs of Hades, where I could just be constantly dashing. And that kind of let me into paths where it's like, oh, well, here's a bunch of upgrade paths that let me then turn my dashes into attacks. And here's ones that cause that attack to stack modifiers. And suddenly it's like, okay, now I'm just dashing 4 times in a row, stacking up all of these ooze damage onto my enemies and kind of letting that hit them rather than, just try to whack them all the time, which when you get to some of the later bosses that move as that have such range as they do, it's almost easier to just have a build that is going to let you get in and get out immediately and have that be your attack rather than standing in place and trying to poke them with a big stick and saying, okay, no, you took damage there. Uh,
Hmm.
Unsurprisingly, similar to Hades, the boss structure over here is you're gonna fight a monster first, and then you're gonna fight a magic lady, and then you're gonna fight 2 idiots, and then
Hmm.
that's about as far as I've made it. So there's a lot of parallels to
Are
Hades,
the
but
two idiots Bebop and
the two
Rocksteady?
idiots are Bebop and
Thinking the
Rocksteady.
exact same thing.
Yep. But also, in Hades, that's pretty in alignment. But yeah, it's decent. Upgrade system feels a little bit more straightforward than it was in Hades. It feels like you are building up slowly this big variety of things. Unlike Hades, you're not really changing between modes where it's like, oh, I want this power up to be of this type or this power up to be of this type. You're obviously not attempting to date anyone. I feel
Uh-huh.
like that would go against what Nickelodeon's interested in doing with the series, but yeah, it's a decent game. I think it's worth a shot if you had a good time with Hades and if like me you're not quite ready to jump into Hades 2 until it sees its 1.0 release.
Oh, I'm not ready to jump into that until I beat the original Hades.
I I have not I have beaten Hades once. But I have not continued on to finish the story of Hades, which wasn't for lack of trying a couple times, but I need to go back to it at some point. but
Yeah,
yeah,
I haven't even done that far.
I will say on PC, they really suggested, hey, use an SSD for this game. And I decided, well, I'll try it on my. I've got so much hard drive space. I don't want to waste my SSD space on games. I can wait patiently for things to start. No, this game has some.
Long load times.
That's an interpretation. It does have some amount of long load time on a hard drive, but I think it's also just kind of a lot less stable if you try to do it on a hard drive. Maybe it's just not. Maybe my experience with it is weird.
That is again surprising to me because like this is supposed to be a mobile game.
It is, but keep in mind, mobile has very fast storage. Mobile has flash storage. It doesn't have like hard drive storage.
I guess that's accurate. Yeah.
Like even still, it's only a 3 gig big game. Like it's not a big game. But what I was running into continuously was things like, oh, it would stop for a period of time loading in dialogue scenes, and it would start to hitch up a bit, and then it would just crash. It would just straight up crash. Now, as soon as I moved it to my SSD, I did not have any of those issues. So I'm thinking it's really, really designed with like immediate fast storage in mind, like you would have on a mobile device. And trying to have it on the SSD, not quite what it wants.
Man, I hope Switch has fast. I hope Switch 2 has fast storage.
I mean, hey, SD cards are going to be as fast as you want to get them, so get those high graded SD cards, I suppose. But yeah, it's a neat thing. It is a it is very much Hades, so hopefully you like Hades, and if you're not already playing Hades 2, maybe give this one a try. It's not bad, especially if you have a particular affection for the Ninja Turtles property as I do. Yeah.
All right. So, Shigs, I guess you've been doing a lot of King Kong stuff?
It's time for Jason's Cookie King Kong Corner.
We're not making that a thing.
No, we are definitely not. It's only a one-time thing. Anyway, so I mentioned last time that the Godzilla event that was going on in Fortnite, and that's finally reached its end.
Yeah, I heard.
I did get
that almost got me to try Fortnite.
yeah, I did get the Godzilla battle pass, including like the Mothra glider and everything. And I, of course, bought Kong and Mechagodzilla, the 2-pack they had for them. It's funny, with Godzilla, I want to make him, just pretty much as straight as possible. With King Kong, I'll put him in Nike sneakers and a Superman cake. Kind of have fun with them in that order. But one of the things you could do is like 25% of the time on the map, Kong would appear and drop off some gear from what's it? Monarch gear, which can help you in the fight. And then also there's a Godzilla portal that happens. But only 25% of the time you're playing the game. And if you can get to that portal in time to be the first one, you get to be a giant Godzilla on the map, just smashing through the buildings and breathing fire on everybody.
I saw footage of that.
It took forever for me to actually get to do that, but I got to do it once on the Switch while I was just chilling on the couch, and then once on the PlayStation 5.
Cool, is it fun?
And that was a lot of fun. And what's cool is you don't die just because the Godzilla gets killed. You just go back to your regular self and just get killed like normal. It's just a fun thing you can do to kill off some enemies quickly, or if you're on the other end, if you want to attack Godzilla, if you get the one that gets the most damage, you get extra goods for doing that as well. But overall, that was a fun event. It's it just ended. Of course, you still get to keep the skins and use them whenever you want.
That's
Now I'm
good.
going on to these other two. I mentioned to you guys last Wednesday I went to the Joy Cinema over here near Portland. They have a thing every once in a while called Weird Wednesday where you get to see a free movie. You just, if you want to buy popcorn soda, you can, but you don't have to. And it's always a really kooky, weird, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of film. The one I saw before, the one I saw here was Hercules in the Dark World, and this one was Batwoman, a Spanish movie about a female pro wrestler who dresses up in a 1960s Batman
Hmm.
outfit and fights crime. Except when she's fighting crime, she wears the Batman cowl and cape, but just wears a bikini the rest of the time with a tiny little utility belt that can't hold anything. It was very silly, a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because sometimes you want to go to something you know, have something that you're expecting to be bad just out of the more morbid curiosity of it. And if it's cheap enough to go for it. And that's what I did with Skull Island Rise of Kong. I got it on
Oh,
sale
Oh dear
for
God.
that's an
five
infamously bad
dollars.
I'm
game,
so
right?
sorry, man.
Yes, and this and like it's kind of like with you and Balan Wonderland, where yeah, I knew going in it was going to suck, and I just wanted to see how it was going to suck.
Oh, I've seen
So
video.
it was worth my
I don't
five
know why you
dollars
do
into
that to
that.
I've seen
yourself.
video of this, and yeah, it's bad. It's real no good bad.
It's
Yeah,
like it's like a kind of bad game you used to get in the 2000s before that became
oh
too expensive to
yeah,
publish.
I played the first level and a half of it. And you first start out it's like I think King Kong's mother. You're like a white furred, and you're going off to save
Oh,
your family, and they're teaching you all the moves you do in the level during this time. It's kind of open world, kind of not. You're going into one direction, but like an open world, there's a lot of space where you're just running and running, and there's no enemies around to attack, and the controls are kind of stiff. They teach you what to do, but you still can't get them right 100% of the time. Like leaping is a little difficult because you have to hit R1 and then jump, and then you have to hold and aim while you're doing it, and it's not that good way. It feels so undercooked as you're playing
hmm.
it. And of course, after I watch this cutscene, in which the family gets killed except for Baby Kong, it goes to load the screen for the next level, and the loading screen just freezes and never goes anywhere.
Oh
Like
Jesus.
I kept it, I thought, okay, maybe it's my SD card. I kept it on for 5 minutes and nothing happened, so I just exited the game, and luckily it started on the next level.
Have you
But
tried running it from
uh,
an SSD? I hear that's very useful.
SD. Oh, not really with my not with my PlayStation SSD. That thing crashed down on me this week. I had to reformat the entire SSD and re-download my games to get it working good
So I
again.
heard.
I'm having problems with PS5 now. My original controller, I have two of them, but the one that came with the system is now no longer charging it. It'll hold the charge as long as it's plugged in, wired, but it won't hold a charge anymore. Anyway, that's unrelated to this. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is this is pretty bad. I mean, they didn't seem to do much of an update to it. I would not recommend it, unless you're a fan of horrible, you know,
Would not recommend it
video
unless you
games,
like
or if you're
infamously bad movies.
or you're like
Games.
a massive Kong fan and have to collect everything, even if you don't like it. The other one is Kong Survival Instinct,
Yeah, I
and
can't seem familiar with this one.
I played this one on the oh my god, Steam Deck. I downloaded it off of there. And this one, you do not play as Kong. You play as this man whose city was just wrecked, and he's searching for his daughter, while Kong's in the background destroying the city because there's some kind of electronic device making him go nuts. And this is based off the Legendary Pictures King Kong, Legendary Pictures Kong. I don't think the Rise of Kong thing was. There's like a copyright thing right now with King Kong where you can't use the words King Kong in a movie. That's universal, but Skull Island and Kong as a giant monkey, I think, are legally okay for a
Oh,
public domain. I'm not sure exactly how that
I'm just
was.
getting flashbacks to the old Nintendo lawsuit where they attempted to sue Nintendo for the use of the word Kong.
Yeah, now they got Donkey Kong Country in Japan. It's kind of quite crazy how that turned around. Anyway, this one's pretty good. It is a kind of Metroidvania type of game. You're doing it in 2D with Kong destroying stuff in the background. Sometimes he comes up to the foreground where you are in a building and you have to hurry up because they'll smash and destroy that part of the building you're in. If you don't make it, you can get crushed by Kong. And basically, you're going around. It's just a kind of a survival type game in that situation. You got to watch out for looters attacking you. You're getting information on where your daughter is. You're talking to other survivors and Semitics and stuff. It's not so Metroidvania that they're having you backtrack much. You're not having to do that kind of stuff. Sometimes you have to do a little bit, but you're mostly going forward into new buildings, into new
Are you
territory.
gaining powers?
No, you're not getting
Okay,
powers at all. You're getting better weapons
I'm confused
but
what
you're
the
not getting
Metroidvania
powers.
part is then.
I'm talking about because it's fully in 2D, and
Okay.
you have like you're going into 3 or 4 level buildings, and you're having to sometimes backtrack
We
around.
call that a
So there's a
platformer.
little bit of 2D. Well, kind of a Castlevania type thing, I guess, more like than
Okay, so
Metroidvania as they
platformer,
call it.
it's an exploration-based
That's why I
platformer. It
say.
does
That's
so
why I
much
was
for
kind of
myself.
saying it like a kind of a light one. It's not. There's not too much backtracking. It's still a bit of a maze, but you're not having to save in a back area and going around. You're pretty much going forward.
It looks like an
It's got a good
interesting
story to
concept.
it. Yeah, it's good, interesting concept. It's got a good story to it. As far as me being like a fan of like the Godzilla Kong movies and everything, he doesn't really fit into the DX is gonna hate this into the canon much because Kong went from Skull Island, living his entire life in Godzilla versus Kong. They put him on a boat. They took him to Hollow Earth. He stayed there pretty much till Godzilla Kong, as far as you know. But this suddenly he's out on into this city and wreaking havoc. And I can't think of a timeline where they could jump put that
I'm
in.
very
But
upset that this
anyway,
Metroidvania isn't canonical to those movies.
yeah, it's not that big of a deal. That's just my main nitpick. Otherwise, it's like I think $20 on Steam Deck, and I think it's worth it for that 20 to 30.
Okay.
It's a pretty good action game, but it is a fully 2D game with the
I'm
3D
I'm
backgrounds and
surprised I've
such.
never heard of this.
I won't say fully 2D. Sorry, it is 3D polygonal, but it's done from a 2D
It's a
angle.
side-scrolling game.
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling game, but I have been enjoying it. I was actually playing through most of it when we were doing our Sonic 4 talk with Sven at the time. I was playing that while we were chatting, and that was it's a fun little game. I'm weird that I have an ADHD where I have to do something else to focus on another thing, especially when it comes to discussion and that.
Eh. Well, I have
But anyway,
ADHD, so I guess I know what that's
I know
like.
what that's like because I often also have to do something else when I'm talking to Knuckles.
Is it because you need is because you need to help concentrating on what I'm saying because it's
uh,
so smart?
Hold on, I need Raph to beat this boss.
any, anyway,
I'm not talking
I
yet.
w- I I could mention King Kong 2 on the Famicom, but it's been quite a while since I played that one, and that one's based off the old movie Lives. King Kong Lives. It was like a night based off the 1976 King Kong movie. That was the sequel to
I'm
that.
sorry.
I think came out in
There was an
'85.
NES adaptation of that?
Yeah, but it was called King Kong 2 because in Japan it's called King Kong 2,
Is it
and
wait?
it's from
Is
Konami.
it that one where he has a girlfriend and you have to
Yeah, it's the one where he has a girlfriend. He's chasing. The story is you're trying to reach your girlfriend to mate with her, basically, and it's a 2D
Weird.
overhead game. You can go into like these temple dungeons that have music eerily similar to the dungeon music in the first Legend of Zelda. I can't really describe it too much because, like I say, yeah, I haven't played it in several months, so I was just giving it a nod,
All
and that's
right.
pretty much it.
Okay, so moving on to me. I don't have much to say. I haven't been playing many non-Sonic games lately, unfortunately. But I was watching a video about the history of the Super Nintendo Satellaview, which made me supremely interested in the Satellaview and Satellaview software and efforts to revive it, and like how it worked. And anyway, that eventually led to me playing Wrecking Crew 98. Oh wait, it wasn't okay. It wasn't just Satellaview. It was also the Nintendo Power digital distribution service that came to life after that in 1997. That's what Wrecking Crew 98 was made for. Um, Basically, like it was this digital surface where you could take a cartridge to a convenience store in Japan. I forget the name of the of the company, but it was a very widespread company. And you can and they would download games onto the cartridge for you, and then you could like take it home and play it. When you were done, you would bring it back, and they would delete it and put on a new game. And Wrecking Crew 98 was among the new-ish games that they uh, made for it, as part of a larger effort to like kind of try to refresh older classics as part of the service. But anyway, so I've been playing that, and it's actually a pretty engaging puzzle game for me. Now, like, I never really played much of the original Wrecking Crew. Like, I'm pretty sure I played Wrecking Crew NES on my 3DS for 20 minutes or something, but I don't remember it. But what I find engaging about this one is that of course, you control Mario, and he challenges all these different various Mario enemies to I guess a demolition duel. I don't know. Like they're competing to destroy the most blocks, and Mario, and so like you have to run around this construction site, matching 3 or more blocks together. In order to like get points and send bad things over to your opponent, and you have to like physically walk over to a switch to move the blocks around. And I don't know, it's just a really fun. It's just a pretty fun, engaging platforming puzzle game. It kind of reminds me of Hotel Mario, I suppose.
I Spike's ripped in this apparently.
I haven't gotten to that yet. I've just seen like a Koopa.
I have seen sprite sheets of this, but yeah, it's Wrecking Crew was always interesting on the NES. In it's sort of in its simplicity, but also just it being an early era puzzle game that wasn't just like a Tetris.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks neat. This looks I don't know. I'm looking at it and my vibes almost feel like a Mr. Driller. Does it seem like that at all?
Yeah, that's probably not a bad comparison, because with Mr. Driller, you're also like playing a platforming character, and you're walking around hitting blocks. Although the trick, although unlike in Mr. Driller, you're constantly moving down. Here you are just in a set location, and you are trying to keep the blocks from going over a certain level. And once they are over a certain level for a period of time, you die. And the game is very difficult because it is extremely easy to just lose control of all the blocks that are constantly falling. And if you're really desperate, you can start just destroying all of the blocks. You don't have to match them up. You can just destroy them outright and not get like any points or anything, just to keep yourself alive. But there comes a point in the battle where that just becomes unsustainable, and no matter how often you rewind, because this is on NSO, you can rewind. You will eventually probably fail, and it is much more difficult than other puzzle games I've played. I would not have beaten the initial first first opponent official the old fashioned way. I had to rewind like heck for that. But I'm trying to just play more NSO games in general because it's like, hey, I've got all these classic retro games on my Switch, and they are not necessarily what I'm after. But you know what? Like they are still there, and I should really check out some of these classics more often. And so that's the thing I am attempting to do. And it just so happens that this aligned with my sudden urge to play an old Nintendo Power game, which I think which I think is like one of 2 or 3 on the service. There's another Nintendo Power game that I think is about like this little transparent character that was brought over from the Satellaview, which a lot of Nintendo Power games were also formerly Satellaview games, hence my confusion. But yeah, like if you're just interested in a puzzle game, I do recommend checking it out.
I mean,
In any case,
there's definitely
that is all I really.
there's definitely been some weird stuff lately. We just got Ridge Racer, I believe, on the N64 one.
Oh yes, yes. I have been wanting to get the expansion pack for a while. I almost did last month, but I think I wasn't going to be getting any kind of like discount from it or from buying it like in the middle of my subscription or something, so I didn't. But I don't know, like I really do want to just bite the bullet and do that. But yeah, like we did get Ridge Racer recently, and man, we've also been getting a lot of just increasingly obscure games too.
Yeah,
some are just Japanese only.
they've gone through a lot of everything that they can do with like Nintendo first party. There's still like a handful of small things that they could put out here and there, but at this point with how much they actually have put out, there's not like a lot left until without going into third party options.
And that is when you increase the price of NSO significantly and add games for more advanced consoles that you are going to have to download.
I suppose. I mean,
like GameCube and DS and Wii.
They will probably have to create some sort of separate launcher so that they are not downloading every one of those games for.
Yeah, like what I hope they do is that they bring these platforms to the service, and it's like maybe one game is downloaded by default, and then you just have to like choose which other ones you download. You know, something like that. Maybe they even implement cloud gaming so that you don't need to download anything.
That sounds miserable. I don't want them to do that. It looks badly on the current Switch.
I mean, like this would be for Switch 2 presumably, and like cloud gaming can work quite well in the right environment on other hardware.
One of those right environments is not, hey, I am at the car dealership having vehicle work done and having to sit there and use their internet.
Would have to be at your house. But like I'm saying, just like it's an option, not like the only way.
Is how I would. And I am saying it is a bad option. Look,
Switch already does.
My dude, do you want to play F-Zero GX with any amount of lag in the slightest?
No, but I would probably be okay with it in like, I don't know, Super Mario Sunshine or something.
They already sold you Super Mario Sunshine, unfortunately. Until they killed off Mario.
Well, I'm just wish casting right now. In any case, hope we get an NSO 2 with the Switch 2. Better NSO with the Switch 2. But regardless.
So are you hoping?
Let's move on to. Yeah.
Are you hoping we get an NSO with GameCube so that you can have an actual worthwhile reason to re-up the Skies of Arcadia copyright, whatever it is, trademark?
You know what? Yes, that would be awesome.
It would be better than what they have announced for it.
And also, let's get Dreamcast on there.
Let's not go nuts.
And TurboGrafx and Sega Saturn.
I think Sega wants to do something with those games. They seem to suggest they have interest in doing something beyond just putting it on a service or something. I don't know.
Well, I
They
hope.
sure
In
delisted
any
a lot of
case,
them.
let's move on
Oh,
to the proper news.
Leslie,
Yes?
that sounds like a nightmarish idea. No, let's not have Sonic. Let's not bring Sonic Shuffle back in any format. Like we already
no.
have the ND Cube criminals still making Mario Party games every other year or so.
We absolutely need Sonic Shuffle on modern hardware. And Shadow the Hedgehog, although, well, okay, good for you. RenderWare is going to keep that from happening. So you don't have to worry about Shadow, no matter what happens. God damn it.
Just remake Shadow and Godot. That can't go wrong. That can't go wrong at all. Oh.
In any case, moving on to the official. Oh my God, Sonic Shuffle 4-player online would be amazing.
No, it would be
Especially they also
insufferable.
emulate the VMU.
It would be absolutely insufferable. That game's barely sufferable as it is. Like, then turning it to like, Jesus. Oh.
God, I want that so bad. But anyway, moving on to Sonic movie news. So Sonic 3 has hit digital, and it's coming to physical media on April 15th. And the deleted scenes have been released. Now, I have been tempted to buy it on digital. What I'm trying to hold out for is just like, hey, the physical copy comes with the digital copy, so wouldn't it just make more sense for me to just do that? Although I don't know. Like I might just get impatient and just spend the $20. But the big thing about all this is, of course, the deleted scenes, which do help explain a few somewhat odd parts from the final film. Shigs, you watched the deleted scenes. I'm pretty sure we're in agreement that them being removed was for the best.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the explanation of what happened to Robotnik in between 2 and 3, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a shame that got cut.
That's fine. The whole thing of him having a live streaming thing and advertising some kind of energy drink with the little silliness with him and Professor Gerald, that was not good. That was
There
just
was a
really.
whole cut plot point of
I
Dr.
know.
Robotnik just being a streamer for some reason. Which, apparently
I
that's
think it
how
was to help pay his medical bills or something, but
it was to
anyway.
help pay for his medical bills, which I don't even understand how that would be possible, given that he only just got 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, so
is he extorting the energy drink company?
it was just to add more Jim Carrey and more, comedy scenes, but it drags the film down just as
Yes.
bad, if not worse, than that galvanized scene. But everyone seems to like that. I'm not crazy about because I think that slowed things down. It didn't make a lot of
Which
sense.
thing?
The one where they're dancing around the lasers.
Oh yes, the best scene in the movie. um, yeah, like the humor in those bits don't really do it for me at all. Like
No.
it really is kind of the worst of what I dislike most about Jim Carrey. But one thing that I do find interesting about this is that those scenes also seem to contain a lot of the bits where Gerald is actually being kind of a different character from Eggman. He is he's like being much grumpier and like a little darker and kind of hinting at his intentions throughout those bits. And I feel like their removal is part of the reason why a lot of people thought that him getting darker in the third act felt like it came out of nowhere. Which I do And so I do find that to be interesting.
I don't feel that was necessary because it's obvious he was keeping up with appearances to
Well,
his,
yes,
grandson because he
but
doesn't
the
want to tell him what his
cutscenes,
true
but
intentions are.
but the cutscenes make it more overt, which for some viewers is what they need, apparently. Um, but beyond that, like, just I do regret that we lost the bit that you mentioned where Robotnik is saved and where they explain how he recovered and apparently he got into Mexican novellas because he got his surgeries in Mexico. So I guess that's why that happened. I don't know, like it fills in some holes. But the big thing that it does is it kind of helps make sense of the final scene where he is directly addressing the streaming audience, which they did keep in the movie.
Wait, what?
Um,
Pardon?
uh,
Well,
where he's
he,
directly
he was
addressing the
he was
streaming audience as
Wait,
he's about to
so
well,
die.
not
they
the
cut.
streaming audience. He was addressing the entire world like he did in
Oh,
Sonic 2, where
okay,
it was
yeah,
more of
he's
a
addressing the
threat.
entire world,
Okay.
but he does it like he's on a stream, I guess is what I'm saying.
That still
He
sounds
did say
odd.
he did say this is my last stream, even though it's the
Yeah,
first time we saw him doing a stream.
yes.
That's weird editing, but okay.
Yes, it is. But ultimately, I prefer that to having all of those scenes in the movie. And two other cutscenes were like we got a little bit of like an extra of an after their dance scene where is also another streaming sequence.
We got a few
And
more bonding VR moments.
oh yeah, there are also more
One of which
bonding
was
VR
kind of funny.
moments.
The whole Cub Scout thing where he's
Yeah,
putting on
I
the
guess where like Gerald slaps him in the face and he knees him in the groin.
yeah
This
the real
But
Three Stooges kind of it.
this
and then there was one removed scene starring someone other than Jim Carrey, and that was the one with the Bia Arthur cake.
Yeah, but see,
Because
they already did that joke when Sonic said "Be Arthur Day," and he goes, "No, it's Be Earth Day."
yes, and
And I'm
apparently
like,
the bakery
you
was
don't
also
go to
confused.
the well twice. You don't need that same joke twice,
Yeah,
unless
again, like they didn't need it. Like
unless that was the original B. Arthur joke, and then they changed it to just a quote, which is
no,
possible.
no, like she directly says that the
Yeah,
bakery was
she
also
directly says.
confused.
So I'm saying it's a different telling of the same joke, but they might have,
Okay.
just when they did reshoots, they might have just changed the where that
Maybe,
joke landed.
but regardless, like
And I think that, oh, no, that was none of the statues. There are some they don't show it on the deleted scenes, where there are some puppet scenes that they
oh
use.
yeah, I didn't
But
watch
those are
those.
for camera placements and everything.
Yeah, the puppet things are kind of neat.
the more
I
I
will
hear you
say.
guys talk about this, the more I think like I really don't actually need to see this movie. There's
Yes, you need to see this movie.
no, I
We're talking about the stuff that was removed
Yeah, we're
mostly.
talking about the stuff that was
you're also
removed.
talking about some of the stuff that was kept in. It's like I don't need
Yeah,
this.
what lines about streamers? Come
I don't
on.
need this.
Like,
This all
I
um,
sounds
already knew there
bad.
was going to be a comedy with stuff that's going to be in there.
in any case, good on you, Sonic editors. You gave us a much tighter movie. Although I do wish you would just kept that bit with the. Honestly, they could have just kept that whole thing that introduced the initial streaming concept, along with him recovering, and so like that would have helped that line make a little more sense, I guess. I don't know, but regardless, um, I do overall appreciate them keeping this movie much tighter than Sonic 2. So, in addition, so like not long after it released on physical, it also hit a couple of box office thresholds. The big one, but the big one, which just happened today, Sonic 3 is now the highest grossing live action video game movie ever made. It surpassed Detective Pikachu by about $12 million this
So you're
weekend.
telling me that it did better than 2010's Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know if I
It, it,
believe that.
it blew away it blew away Jake Gyllenhaal's masterpiece. That was the actor, right?
Yes, it was him.
Oh my god, I can't believe I remembered that. Absolutely blew it away.
Oh, it beat that was the Disney movie that everyone was really obsessed if it would beat or not. It's like, oh, everyone on social's like, oh, I hope it beats Prince of Persia. Oh, I'm really
You know,
looking
I actually
forward to.
saw that movie.
Pardon?
It was supremely mediocre.
That's what I've heard.
But like this does put it in a very good position to become the second video game movie to ever surpass 500 million. So like there's
Close.
no way you can really deny now that this
You know
movie
what,
is a big success for Paramount.
If they hadn't released it so soon on digital, I think it would still be in the top 5 of the box office. That's the one thing I hate about digital, pretty much
Yeah,
altogether, with what they're doing in the movies now. A month later, digital instantly, even if you're in the top 5, box office. And I think
yeah.
that's just killing your bottom line, in my opinion. But I guess
It
maybe they
really
see
does
something into it
feel
I don't.
It really does feel unnecessary. And I don't know, maybe they have some numbers that suggest that it doesn't actually affect the box office performance that much
I,
after a month or something. But like, all I know is
Yeah,
Disney
but
doesn't do this anymore.
there are a lot of movies where I'm looking at and I'm like, I'll wait till streaming because streaming comes along so quickly now.
But like,
What you call it?
I would
The
think that
Gladiator 2 is already on Paramount Plus, so
I would think that
there's that
six
kind of
to
thing.
8 weeks would be the
well,
optimal
to
gap.
be clear, it's not on Paramount Plus yet, though. It's just
Yeah, you do it. So you do have to
Yeah,
pay $20 for it. To be
yeah,
fair.
you're just buying the digital version off like iTunes or Amazon or whichever service you prefer.
yeah.
Although, like, still, like that I can't help but feel like that does probably cut into the
I
box office a bit, but
it might
maybe it's just not that
it
much.
might, but also for a family movie, specifically, like sometimes you just have to occupy a child for 2 hours. Like,
And maybe another thing is, releasing after a month that could also be hitting while the iron's hot, and like so you get a big boost in digital sales while the movie's still in theaters, so you kind of like double dipping. So
Maybe.
that could be where a lot of movies do this now.
Yeah. It got
Um,
a good point there.
in any case, I definitely think it's probably surpassing $500 million before it leaves theaters. So uh, with the movie now having been out a while, we're starting to get some concept art, and before we get into the good concept art, we're going to talk about the bad concept art. um,
sure.
which I don't know if you're in a position to show any of it yet,
I
but
could try to bring it up.
it is AI art, and it is
It is
ugly.
like you can tell right down to, oh, this is how the model decided to interpret this whole thing. Give me a sec. I'm trying to.
Like the very first piece of art I saw was a character that's supposed to be Shadow standing on a rock with an awkward smile and really messed up looking fingers, looking out at like a
For spines
bay and a
and
photo of a city.
not even a proper curvature of the spines, even.
Well, it's
Yeah.
so it just looks like they reskinned Sonic. It basically looks like
Yes, exactly.
if you're typing into the model, like, hey, Sonic, but black, red back, spines, Japan, Mount Fuji, photorealistic, etc. Like, it's not, it's a not good. It's
Yes.
and the
And I don't even understand what purpose this really serves to the movie. Like, did they just need like a vague idea of what a hedgehog looking at a city with Mount Fuji in the background will look like?
I'm assuming this is the case. Like I'm guessing
Yeah, maybe.
I there are others telling me that the city itself looks like Gen AI. I haven't spent enough time
Looks like a photo to
looking.
me.
Yeah, to me it looks more like a photo. I don't know if Mount Fuji is so big as to engulf the city view in the way that it is presented here.
I mean, I don't think this is actually a photo of Tokyo or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, this kind of looks like a generic cityscape put up against a generic mountain
But
with
also
like,
this crap Sonic shadow, this really crappy classic shadow, we'll call it. Ugly classic shadow,
yeah.
maybe, perhaps in the parlance of the movie. This is apparently, I guess, a separate piece of art that they have recycled in a couple pieces of the concept art. Like it reappears in a couple places, and
Hmm.
it's the part that shocks me is the reason why we have this is that this was in someone's
Portfolio.
ArtStation portfolio. Like someone used this as a job sample or is presenting it as a job sample, and I'm like, no, you don't no. Anyone who knows any amount of art is going to look at this and think like, "Oh,
Hmm.
you're a hack."
Yep.
Like, I don't know. I don't understand how you can get paid for this. I don't understand, like, what purpose this would serve to the movie, because you still
I
need an
could
actual
type
artist
though.
to draw things.
I
Like,
like
admittedly, like,
so
it's common for productions to have a lot of concept art, which doesn't have much of anything to do with the production. So I don't know
I
what purpose these were
I
serving.
I my guess is it lives somewhere on like an idea board or something like that. That would be the that would
Hmm.
that would be my assessment of what you would do with something like this. You would just have it
And
like, hey, we're looking for what we can do here thematically. Obviously, we may not find this exact position to film Tokyo from outside in this way or reproduce it through CG or something.
and in addition to this ugly shadow stuff, we also got some ugly eclipse cannon stuff, where it just looks kind of like a weird
Yeah.
mess of pointy
Maybe
things.
maybe they could not call it concept art, more like idea AI
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
this is the kind
art
of stuff that you put.
outside of concept.
Yeah, like
Because we do have regular concept art that's art, outside of
Yeah,
this.
we'll get into that later. GX, what are you trying to say?
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this feels like the kind of thing where you just make stuff. You just have this big trove of stuff. It's like, okay, we're looking for general idea inspiration. Let's try to have this big thing of like figuring out like what do we want this thing to look like. And I'm not saying that in defense. I think you and I have different feelings on the use of this stuff.
I do not care about how it is used in the background. I more just care, like, if it's being used to actually create art. Like, actually, like, being used substantially in the movie.
My feelings come from
Yeah, I'm gonna say, if you take this and give it to a concept artist and say, "Oh, this is kind of what I'm looking for," maybe that's okay. I mean, back in the day when I was doing
I
fan
mean,
comics and I was working with an artist, I'd sometimes give them a rough, because I can't draw worth a damn. I'd give them a rough sketch of how I want the scene. Sometimes it just be very detailed in my scripts, just to
like,
show, okay, this is kind of what
honestly,
I'm looking for.
honestly, like, it's it's better to just, like, that prompt that you're writing, just send that to the artist.
True.
yeah, eh,
But man, like, these art concepts just look like an utter mess, and the interior, I guess, interior Robotnik based concepts look like a mess. Like, I don't know, this whole thing's just hideous.
my I mean my feelings in the matter are more that like I it is mildly, and I am emphasizing mildly, more forgivable that it is not a piece of front facing art that actually goes into the
Mm.
creation. But where I kind of draw the line is the same place where I draw the line with most Gen AI products, where it's just the knowledge of basically, hey, I understand what produced the models and what went into them and how much was basically stolen from the internet in effect to from other artists to produce something that they effectively got for much cheaper than would be hiring someone who just is I'm going to call a real artist, and I use that in a direct insulting way to insult the person who posted these online and to call
Good.
them not a real artist.
Yeah. If you do a command prompt into a computer, you are not a real artist. I'm sorry.
It's not
That's just like
like
scripting.
it's not
I mean,
even, hey, I own a copy of Adobe and I need to fill this. It's like, no, you had a model make this crap character model and pasted it in a bunch of places. Like, no, my dude, you don't have to look that hard to find an art of shadow. If you're just making concept art, just freaking get some stock art and cram it in there and it would be more legitimate than what they did here.
Yeah. Like, I don't think AI should be used in productions like this. In any capacity, even limited like this.
I
But,
I
like,
I will accept it whenever I will accept it in very specific honed ways where it is very clear what makes up its data set, and what makes up that data set is, we will say, ethically sourced. Like, my feelings on AI is fine as a technology. It can be very useful, but it is not a Swiss Army knife. It is not designed to do things that humans are best designed to do, to fill in gaps, to take in perspective, and to approach, meaning or crafting a scene. No, what AI is good is detecting a pattern and facilitating that pattern through a data set. There's
yeah.
great things happening with AI
it's
in
not.
the medical field. There's great things happening in data analysis with AI. AI is not designed to make a picture, or you know what, there's even
The way
great things
I want to see a. Go on.
I was going to say, even like audio production, and I'm not talking voice synthesis, I'm just talking like
I hate
figuring
voice synthesis so much.
no, I don't mean like, hey, create fake voices. I mean,
No, I know. I'm just commenting on voice synthesis, not what you were talking about.
AI's really good at just mixing. Like, we would not have had a that Izuka interview that we had a while back, because the audio was so rough as to almost be unusable, if not for, hey, they were able to a model that we had used was able to figure out what the appropriate voices are and clean out the trash in it. It's good for
Hmm.
very specific, very honed things, functions. It's not good for one size fits all solutions for whatever you're looking for. And in this case, probably would not have been great use, or certainly, hey, don't show it off in your portfolio as if to say, I am proud of this work that I didn't do.
Yeah. One of my big hookups with hangups with art AI is people calling it artificial intelligence. It is
No, well,
algorithm intelligence,
Well, like,
pretty much.
okay,
It is
that is
hold
what
on, hold.
finding, like you were saying, it's finding patterns, copying them, and
that
then
is
trying
that is
to
what AI
fit it
does.
in.
So
Yeah, I mean, when you think of Chat GPT is constantly giving false
AI
information
AI
because it's
is
just
AI is
getting what's in the internet and bringing it in. Okay, I'm sorry. Go
AI
ahead.
is not a technology. AI is a philosophical grouping of multiple kinds of technology that simulate decision making that human beings would do. And in that case, like, I get what you mean, because it's certainly not a generalized intelligence, which is another subset of AI that is right now only kind of theoretical. But yeah, I get what you mean, but let's understand, like, when we talk about AI, we are talking about a broad range of technologies, not a singular thing.
when it comes to AI and art, I think it needs to be used specifically to help an artist, not to replace an artist. And it needs to, and its algorithm needs to be ethically sourced, like not just built off of stuff you stole off of Google.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna sit
And
here
so,
saying DLSS is
like
immoral or something,
ultimately,
but
I'm never going to like boycott a thing because it used AI at some point in its process. But using AI in this capacity is still just vulgar to me.
it makes it look bad. We'll say it makes the
Yeah.
production look kind of a little bit more careless. Whether or not care was put into all the other elements of it, it raises a doubt in it. And you've seen we've seen the anti AI movement in here where the internet will just rally behind things that look like garbage without thinking like, oh, this looks like garbage, so an AI did it, and turns out no, it just looks like
I
garbage.
hate the anti AI brigade almost as much as AI itself. We all need to calm the heck down about this stuff and stop burning people.
Well, I mean, that's true about all internet controversy. Is we probably should have half an idea and be more media literate instead of jumping on the next rage bait.
In any case, we should probably move on to the actual concept art that we also reported on that seems to hint at some cut uh ideas as well as some future ideas. Oh, by the way, just to get this out now so that GX doesn't yell at me, yes, we will be discussing all Sonic 3 spoilers on this episode and every episode after where they are relevant.
He did that for my
Well over
benefit,
a month.
not
You're
yours.
listening to it. It's been well over a month. You're listening to a Sonic podcast. If you haven't seen the movie by now, I
Like,
don't
I
know what to
technically
tell you.
already pulled off that band-aid last episode, but now I'm just making doubly sure that band-aid is thoroughly gone. You know, so anyway, so the new Sonic, the new Sonic 3 concept art. It got posted on a Chinese site. And it
I
features
honestly
some
thought it was
interesting.
part of the that it was part of the bonus features. I didn't realize it was just part of it. AI site.
Uh, uh, what do you mean? It's a Chinese site, not an AI site.
Oh,
Um,
sorry. My
Oh,
brain
those
went
AI
off for a minute there.
websites.
just want to be clear. This is actual concept art. um, so we've got some scenes that appear directly taken from the movie, like uh, Photoshop Jim Carrey watching a Mexican telenovela that has Will Ferrell in it. I do believe that some of this is this is what they should be doing, where they actually just take actual photos and sticking it over the art. um,
It was based off a Will Ferrell movie, from what I understand, that they were trying to get the rights to the show just a scene from, where he was
oh,
Will Ferrell was an actor in a novella.
interesting. I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. We also got a scene of them escaping like some big sand disaster. I don't know. But it definitely looks like this was initially going to be like a bigger, more world destroying movie, at least in like some early ideas.
Yeah, there's a
Um, there's
there's a
an, there's
scene with them, there's a giant rolling ball that Knuckles and Tails are running away from downhill that looks straight out of Sonic Adventure 2 with the gun truck, only it's a giant
except it's a
ball
giant
of death.
calamari ball.
It is a Katamari ball. There's different stuff inside, so that's kind of interesting. I
um,
guess the big one is the alternate ending scene of like a bad future with a King Robotnik with Metal Sonic standing next to him.
yeah. So we got two that do seem to hint at some Sonic 4 ideas, and and what the after critics would have been, because for one we have King Jim Carrey standing next to a Metal Sonic wearing like a scepter and all this fancy capes and all this fancy clothing and stuff, and he's got like
Yeah.
Cupid Jim Carrey's in the background blowing trumpets.
Oh, and the statue, yeah, and the backgrounds in the back are like these dark cyber cities that remind me a little bit of Robotnik's land in the Saddam cartoons a bit.
Yeah, it kind of looks like your standard dystopia.
Yeah.
And then we've got another scene, another image that has Amy saving Sonic from what appears to be some kind of giant robot. And of course, at the end of the actual movie, we had Amy saving Sonic from Metal Sonic. And
Those Metal Sonics, yeah.
and
she was cloaked in here, and this one she's got her full outfit.
And this all looks like something that's like taking place in some kind of future dystopia.
Yeah, so it's obvious the original idea was to get ready for like the next chapter just in case. But with Jim Carrey, you're not sure if you're going to get him back or not. So they decided to go with killing him off again. But there is ways they can bring him back because chaos energy is unstable. You don't know exactly what's going to happen with it. It could be he got transported to the future. It could be a shadow teleported him away from the explosion.
It could
but
be that
it doesn't look like that because he was completely enveloped in light when the explosion happened.
It could be that this series likes to make dumb jokes and will play it off as a dumb joke, or just not explain it.
It's Eggman Nega.
BS!
But,
no.
Yes,
No, it is not Eggman Nega.
Eggman Nega.
You're full of crap.
They are never going to use that character
Eggman
just
Nega
because
still has an
that
active...
word is a little too close to another word, and so I don't think they're ever going to use that.
Eggman Nega has a still has a character profile on Sonic Channel's Japanese site.
Yeah, but doesn't Styx also have that profile and has for like a long ass time? It doesn't mean anything. Like you're looking for meaning in nothing.
It means something.
Realistically, hey, jumping into what we have heard rumored so far, hey, I'm guessing there's probably some time travel shenanigans here that allowed that to happen, like, cause
we've got a whole bunch of Sonic 4 stuff that's come out in recent weeks. We got the Sonic 4 logo, which I guess has a pink 4. We have the release date, March 19th, 2027. What'd you say?
So the pink, obviously, in reference to Amy.
Yeah. And March 19th, 2027, which is a little earlier than I was expecting. And finally, we have a rumor from Daniel Rickman that Sonic 4 will have time travel elements, which does line up with that concept art that we just discussed.
Sure.
And what also...
And that does not mean Silver's going to be in it.
Well,
it doesn't.
But it does give an amount of credence to their interest, because like you could very reasonably just like if you look at how they tell stories in this, that they don't just retell stories. They sort of allude to the existing stories in very specific ways, but they don't just like retell. So saying like, hey, having the vague Sonic 06 / Sonic CD mashup is not unbelievable. It's very believable for something that this writing team would do.
Yeah, like Silver's a time traveler. Amy was in a game. Amy Metal Sonic came from a game with time stones. You could take the time stones and Silver and put them both in the same movie.
You could just not have time stones and find time travel through a different means.
Yeah, sure, but the time stones are also right there. So
that doesn't mean they're gonna do it. Remember, in this world, there's like a Chaos Emerald that has all the other Chaos Emeralds inside of it.
Yeah, there's a Master Emerald, the Chaos Emerald, so they can also have.
Yeah, but it could. What the heck are you talking? No. That's not the same
Look,
logic.
Look, I'm just saying that they could that there are time traveling elements in these games that both of these characters are from, and that they could use elements from both in a single movie.
Yeah, and I am saying that
I
as
don't think
well. I'm not
anything
not
that really needs to
saying
be
that
argued about.
they have to use like time stones, or the time stones are there. We should be referencing time stones like it's a frickin' Sonic Generations rewrite or something. I don't know.
Oh gosh. There's nothing wrong with the time stones being a thing, something that's in Sonic CD.
No,
In any case,
yeah, but there is something wrong when you try to shove in references just to shove in frickin' references.
including time stones in the plot is not shoving in a reference. It is giving them a mechanism for traveling through time. In any case, Sonic 4 speculation and hopes is where I'd like to go from here, because we didn't have a chance to do that in the previous show, and I don't know, like if Shigs or I have anything to say about that, it seems like a good place to say it.
My speculation is if they bring Jim Carrey back, I think with the bad future in that thing it might be like Sonic and me traveling back in time, and we might get an actually insight to Dr. Robotnik's origins a little bit. We'll have instead of Jim Carrey, we'll have like a young actor replacing him for a short time until we get back to the Jim Carrey in the dark future or whatever.
Honestly,
If they bring Jim Carrey back.
that's like
If
kind
not,
of
it could be
my idea for a Jim Carrey Dr. Robotnik series. Like they could just have like him in part of it, and then tell his backstory through various child actors or something. But like I don't know. I guess like honestly, even though every indication says that we're probably getting a time travel story at the moment, I still just want them to go into freaking space.
Yeah, and this gives us speculation on whether Amy is from the same planet as Tails and Knuckles in that, or if she's from the future or from the past or something. She's from a different time.
Gee, it's not like they've never had that confusion before with a character in a time travel storyline, whether they're from the future or another dimension.
Oh, you mean a certain purple cat that they can't decide whether she's from another dimension or from the future?
And also Eggman Nega. But yeah, like they could totally make Amy from the future. Like I would rather that they didn't. I would hope that she would be from the same basic area as Sonic and Tails, and we get some kind of information on Sonic's home planet.
So okay, I've got a pitch for you. So what happens is we do use your alternate Robotnik theory, and what he does is he returns to this time in order to turn Sonic and all of his friends and family into cards. And Sonic has to outrace these various rivals in order to collect his friends back.
All right, so you want a Sonic Rivals 2 adaptation, is what you're telling me.
That's also Sonic Rivals 1. I think they are both built on the concept of using cards.
But did they both have Eggman Nega? I honestly don't remember.
I think so, because yeah, I know he's in the first one.
No, they'll have futures. The Robotnik steals Sonic shoes and replace them with extremely heavy shoes, where all he can do is roll.
Perfect.
And barely walk.
Sonic apparently has 3 brothers, and they must together fall into a giant puzzle pit and align themselves in groups of 4 or more.
Okay, well, technically that game never happened.
It could, though. But we're not bound by.
To me personally, a Sonic CD Silver mashup is an interesting idea. Like instead of having something like the Idris trigger, which would feel totally out of place in this universe, and they've kind of already used in the Knuckles series.
They could find other ways.
They did have the puppet Iblius monster in the that musical number,
Eh,
along
But
with the
like, but like they could have
Knuckles puppet dad and everything, and the
but
flames of disaster have been mentioned.
but I can see a plot line where like where like a future Robotnik is invading, or like a few like Jim Carrey was sent to the future, and he is invading the present day or something with his metal Sonics, and and like I don't know, he's attacking various planets, and Amy has to go get him, and Silver like is from the future, and that's how he's involved. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Amy is a time traveler in this because she knew the exact spot and date where Sonic would be and where he was getting attacked by the metal Sonics.
Hmm.
So that she knew something was up there. So there must be there's some kind of time element with her in that.
In any case, unless we have anything else to say, I think we can move on. Because honestly, like, I have a lot less to say about a Sonic 4 movie centered on time travel, because, like I said, I've been wanting them to go to space for multiple movies now. Um, but so moving on to the Sonic 4 mobile, to the Sonic mobile corner. So real quick, movie Super Shadow has popped up Sonic Sonic Forces and Sonic Dash. Uh, he's pretty overpowered in Sonic Forces at the moment because you can like have him go super while at the same time activating his asteroid attack, which is like sprinkles the racing the race course with asteroids, and that normally when you use that attack, it would be something that you would also have to dodge, but now that you're super, you don't have to. And so, like, yeah, that's been incredibly overpowered at the moment. But the big thing in the mobile corner is Sonic Rumble, which has just started a new season that is going to last through March, which is making me wonder, like, what is going on with this game? Because, okay, so, like,
Because it hasn't launched in the U.S. yet. If they're doing a
yeah,
season till March, does that mean we'll have to wait till the next season before this game launches in
like,
this country?
I don't know. You have more. Like, I would assume that they will want to launch in the U.S. at the start of a season because you have to pay money for these season passes, and like unless they're going to make it free in the newly launched regions, I don't really see how you could launch in the middle of that.
well, so 100%, like if I'm Sega, I would want to get this game out within the fiscal year. Just so that you could say you put out a game. Um beyond like, hey, the existing game that they did put out, Sonic X Shadow Generations. So it wouldn't surprise me if what day in March did you say?
It'll be like March 3rd, I think,
Okay.
March
That's
5th,
still
like
probably
early in the
that's
month.
still probably before they would have to start thinking about putting together their reporting. But
But like basically we have gotten season 0, and we've gotten pre-season 1, and now we are in pre-season 2.
yeah, I it certainly does not feel like they're hitting while the iron's hot, but then also from what we've seen of the pre-registration numbers, like it doesn't look like it's really lighting up the charts.
Yeah, it's been slow. Like they hit 400,000 a few weeks ago, and they still haven't hit
And that's
600,000.
not anything to
And
scoff at, but I also don't think that that's what you want going into the launch of a games as service game that seems as expensive to make as this one does.
yeah, like this is probably the most high quality mobile game they've made.
I mean, let's not forget this is
um,
still the Sega that dumped an asinine amount of money into a Sakura Wars mobile game that did absolutely nothing. So, which is unfortunate. Like, unfortunately, I feel like once again the the big takeaway from this is going to be, man, much like Sonic Runners, they made some really good music for this thing, and that might be the only aspect of it that survives. I'm not gonna like say something crazy like, oh, this thing is definitely dead on arrival or anything, but it kind of does make me worry that, like, hey, if Sonic Runners can't do it, like, are we looking at something else crazy here where this is going to where this is not going to do what it needs to do? Because this, unlike the other ones, like Hardlight keeps pace on its stuff, and it must be very reasonable to maintain the existing games that they do compared to.
Oh, I'm sure Sonic Forces and Sonic Dash are very cheap games.
Yeah, and you figure you probably have a couple of whales who have to get the newest costume of whatever, but with this,
Like, you don't even need to be a whale to do that. You can just get that through free play, but you have to be a whale to like level everything, max everything out though.
yeah, but I look at this and, like, this thing has a budget. This thing has a budget. And
Yeah, and it's also asking for more money. Like the red rings are way overpriced and fairly difficult to get. As I've said, the season pass is $10, and they usually have a simultaneous like event pass that is like $9.
and also, and it might just be me personally speaking, I I think their cosmetics are trash. Like, all the cosmetics that I've seen seem really bad compared to what I like. Even like, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of all the stuff that Hardlight puts out, but they release pretty decent character models and they build up around them in a way that's pretty solid. These don't stack up. Not at
I
all.
personally do like some of the skins, mostly the ones based off of like Sega Hardlight or Sonic Speed Simulator skins, but nevertheless. But then you got some really weird ones like Reindeer Knuckles and Pilgrim Sonic.
Ugh.
Like
Or
that,
even
that is just
or
strange.
even just like the character, but what if they're gold? Like,
Oh God,
those ones are terrible.
You know what? I need to like. I caught a picture of all of of all these shiny characters on a victory screen,
Ugh.
and it is just
It looks
is
stupid,
just
doesn't it?
something. Yes, it does.
Oh, just it's gonna be 40 people in a victory screen, and everyone's gonna be Crystal Zavik. That's where everyone's gonna go.
The crystal characters are the characters they're generally willing to
Give away.
to give away or to sell. I could buy Crystal Amy right now for I think like 350,000 rings if I really want to, and like I don't, but I could. um, but yeah, like for me it is mixed, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's like,
fine,
why is
but
this game not out yet? It's kind that's what I think the thesis of this is like.
That's what everyone's asking now. When does this come out? And
Seriously, it's been a while.
and it's just getting ridiculous.
Well, it like they're saying winter, and we all kind of assumed going in early that, like, okay, you would probably want this to be out sometime around the movie because there would be good synergy. People are thinking about Sonic. Why not have it ready by then?
That's what I figured we were getting it. I figured, okay, winter. The movie comes out in winter, so clearly that's when it's going to come out.
But
but I was wrong. No.
but like we're still talking the general winter window. It's just like,
which technically goes through like early March. So like they could still technically do it. By the way, I linked that image that I mentioned.
oh God, they look so bad. Oh, this looks so bad. Oh, this sucks.
So, like, in addition to that, there's also the one good thing about them taking so long is that there is now a lot of content. Like, the new season brought us 12 new stages, meaning that like there's a lot more variety in the rumbles now. Like, whenever you play, like, it just depends on how randomized the actual algorithm will allow it to be. There's also a new mode called Windbound Battle, which adds random wind to the races, and it does kind of change things up a bit. So, like, I don't know, when this thing does finally come out, there's at least going to be a lot to do. But my God, is it taking? But my God, it's just starting to get a little worrisome.
It just almost feels like they announced it a little bit too early. Like, I get why. It feels weird that it's been in this pre-release state or this limited release state for as long as it has. Like, I'm wondering if a big part of this.
How many months you been playing this, Alex? Knuckles?
I've been playing this since October.
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing I've been kind of wondering is like, are they using that? Could this be them trying to hammer out what the economics of it ought to be before they do
They
have
did
this?
also they did also reform the store a bit.
Yeah, that's
So,
what I'm
like,
thinking
I sent you some
of.
I sent you some photos from this. But they did add a new thing that like let me get like 200 red rings, which is insane in the context of this game's economy. um and they've also started including red rings for doing well in the leaderboards, which is, but in addition to that, the character store, the skin store, is different for newbies, because instead of the character, because like initially in the game originally, the regular character skins were just kind of made available at random, and they would like switch out every 8 hours or something.
And now it seems like
And
it's
so,
a
like,
tiered unlock system where you get one and
yeah,
then get.
now it is. Now it's tiered unlocked, where you can work towards certain characters, but it also does make you buy these like character animations. So like it is like it's kind of a better way of sort of like easing you into the storefront.
Mm.
And like they've also added a skin library, which encourages you to get 3 skins of each character. And by the way, that gets you a chrome shadow once you get all 17 base skins. So, like, yeah, so they are still building on stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe it is just a development thing.
It could be like development or just kind of playtesting to figure out like what are people going to accept? Because
I will accept a season pass that has a few more skins and is $5.
that's honestly $5 is kind of my limit. That's what I paid for Mario Kart Tour back in the day and a couple other mobile games here and there. That's kind of my limit. When you start costing more than Crunchyroll monthly, that's where I'm the point where it's like, I don't think you're offering me the service that I'm looking for here.
Yeah.
I could give
In
that
any case,
$5 to someone on not Kickstarter, Patreon, and get significantly more content out of it.
when the game finally launches in the US, I'm probably going to do one season pass at that price.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Maybe
In any case,
maybe just go ad hoc in the same way he would maybe ad hoc like, oh, Tails is safe, where you double all the cards and horses or whatever.
So, moving on to general news. We have Sega has revealed a new thing called SEGA accounts.
They invented the idea of accounts. It's a brand new concept.
Which appears to be like a more standardized version of their newsletter promotions.
Well, okay. So it obviously they're not kind of getting into what exactly they're planning on doing with this, except yes, they are going to reward people for signing up with certain amounts of content, and the way that they are pitching it is they have launched with a Ryu, not Ryu. Wait, wait. Who am I thinking of? The protagonist of the Yakuza?
Goro?
No, no. For who's the main
For
protagonist? Uh,
Oh,
Neil,
damn it! I usually know
Hey,
this. Kiryu,
Kiryu,
Kazuma
yeah.
Kiryu.
You get
Kiryu, yeah.
Kiryu's jacket for Majima in the upcoming Yakuza Pirates game, which is also something that they're offering for signups to their uh, subscription newsletter type thing. So it's going to be
It
another way to
and
follow that. But they've
It and PSO2 are the first two games to be a part of the
I
SEGA account.
already
yeah.
did that because that game looks so much
So
fun.
is this so? So
Yeah,
my
I know,
question
big one.
becomes: is this the way that they're going to manage something like your PSO2 account? Like,
I would assume so because and like I'm assuming that this is also like how they're going to try to connect people to promotions and get people to sign up for like getting newsletters
oh,
and
I
stuff
think
without
I
constantly.
think that's the no. I personally I think that's the least important aspect of that. Like, I understand Sonic fans are horny for the stupid shoes, but no, I don't think that's as important to Sega as getting you for getting you to register for an account for their upcoming probably games as service games like Crazy Taxi or maybe Jet Set
I
Radio.
mean, yeah, I could see that being a part
I
of
see
this
that as
because
that
again,
being more.
PSO2 already
Yeah,
is.
to me that's much more
But
important than, oh, this is a different way to get these skins than signing up for newsletters, because they are still pitching the super game concept. So
well, I only bring up the newsletters because that's basically what they're doing for Yakuza, which is the first new game
yeah,
to be a part of
yeah, they
this.
they want to
And
get people to sign up, so
so,
they're going to get you
in the
something, but
description of what is a Sega account, Sega account is a profile that lets you maximize Sega's online services and offers a ton of benefits. Take part in promotions with incredible rewards, and look at your records for the games you've played.
sure. But I'm looking at this and thinking like, okay, if I'm playing an Ubisoft game, if I'm playing an EA game, if I'm playing an Activision Blizzard game, I'm going to have a sign up for that to manage how and what my account is doing across different devices and installs and game saves. And if Sega is as gung ho on service based games as it sounds like they're aiming to be in a very terrible time to launch a bunch of service games,
Yeah.
then this is something that you might want to have in place.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I never thought about it in the live service context because, of course, that's a model of game I don't generally care about. It does make me wonder if they're going to link this up with Sonic Rumble next.
It wouldn't surprise me, but by and large, like, I guess yeah, that's true. There is a PC version, so it's possible. I could maybe see that. I don't know.
Um, Sorry, I got distracted by something. All right.
Look, we're
uh,
all distracted by the vision of Lady Kong up on the screen right now.
I made the mistake of briefly checking a Sonic Stadium DM, and someone sent me something about a Sonic Heroes remake, which I'm pretty certain is going to be a hoax once I look into it.
Beautiful. Oh, I want to see that. Show me that over on. Send me a DM later. I want to see.
All right, all right, but yeah. So I did. So are we done talking about the Sega account thing?
I
Or do you have
I
anything else to say?
get games as service. Get ready.
Yeah.
It's how you manage your brain toll.
And also, Sonic Jam skins are now available as free. The Sonic Jam skin is now available for free as DLC. Which is that just Steam or is that on everything?
I think it's on everything now.
I'm assuming that's that's going to happen to a lot of the promotional DLC stuff that's going to be on Sega accounts.
Not all of them are. There's still some promotional stuff for superstars that never made it outside. There was someone real salty on the forums that was like, "Wait, I had to do this work to get this skin, and now you're just making it free to everyone." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it's like I think people need to understand these are promotional items. You may love it, you may adore it, but Sega's not thinking about it in the way that you are. They're thinking about
What matters is that you got it earlier than everyone else. Just be happy about that. Personally, I like it when the stuff is actually made available for free afterwards.
I mean, it's better for preservation, but
Yeah.
but you got to realize Sega's not thinking about this as, oh, this is capital C content. They're thinking about it in the same way they're thinking like, oh, you want a free pen? Have a free pen. It looks like Sonic and it has less polygons.
So, moving on, we got a DCX Sonic. We got a solicit and a cover for the next issue of DC. Is it X Sonic or Cross Sonic? How is that generally pronounced?
I believe it's called Detective Comics.
But yeah, so we got a solicit and we got a cover. It's going to be $4, 32 pages, and it's going on sale April 16th, 2025. And the solicitation is the Justice League has some startling new allies: Sonic the Hedgehog and his friends, and together they fight the invading forces from Apocalypse to save Sonic's world from Darkseid's devastating ambitions. But can even their combined might be enough to stop a new god who will make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good? You won't believe the cataclysmic finale.
It'll be Charmy. Charmy will make the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh god, that would be funny.
Yeah.
And also sad.
I guess I'm gonna parrot at least some sentiment that has been expressed about these on the socials, and when it is just Sonic crossing over with one other franchise, Sonic has a very distinct aesthetic, and trying to lean that up against something else is very jarring unless that other thing is extremely cartoony, such as, Mario. Like
It is really weird seeing Sonic next to the Flash with Darkseid in the background. Like the cover for this is so surreal. Like, I never thought I'd see Darkseid holding a freaking Chaos Emerald.
Like Sonic doesn't look like he belongs there. Like Sonic Sonic, like
it feels out of place.
Yeah, I hope the art in the comic itself, whenever we finally get to see that, finds some way to make it look a little bit more congruent.
I mean, it's Adam Bryce Thomas, who's basically like the modern Patrick Spaziente.
Sure.
So, like, the only person who could probably do this better would be Spaz himself. But that being said, that is, like, I'm not saying he will definitely do it, but I at least have some hope that he will make it look good.
I think the struggle is, like, my best point of comparison is the Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series. And what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles benefits from is that's a series that has gone through continuous shifts in its aesthetics.
And it was also made from the beginning for them to stand alongside regular ass humans.
Yeah. But Sonic has a brand dictated aesthetic that he does not get to vary from in the same way as other franchises get to. So whenever you put him against something that, again, feels kind of incongruous, it's really noticeable.
Generally, when it comes to these covers, my theory has been that Pablo M. Calar seems to primarily be a DC artist. Like, I've never heard of him, and his DC artwork looks like a typical, really nice looking DC cover. I think the Sonic stuff just looks kind of weird and off model. So that this could just be color struggling with the Sonic cast.
Yeah, it could be. The fact that we haven't seen any of the internal art is just what gives me pause so far. Like, maybe they'll find a way.
Well, we're not going to until March. It's pretty rare for them to show concept interior art before then, unless it's like a special event like New York Comic Con.
Provided that it releases at all.
Oh, I'm sure this is coming out.
That's like, I guess if Sega were to strong arm anything into releasing, this would be the one thing, since they have given an actual marketing push for it.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, IDW ain't doing so great.
So that's a transition to IDW.
That's a transition.
Well, IDW isn't making these issues; these are DC published.
They aren't, but IDW is still involved. It's still a
Really?
bit of a collaboration.
I did
Oh,
not hear about this.
Because like with Godzilla, they had IDW versus Legendary. Justice League versus Kong and Godzilla. Now it's Marvel versus Godzilla starting next month.
Okay,
And so I always thought those were separate from the original comic publishers.
You saying that is making me more and more uneasy saying that with confidence, but I do feel like I have read that they are involved in some way, even if it is not necessarily that they are publishing.
Well, it would make sense to me, but I just haven't seen that yet. As far as I was aware, it was just DC. But given that IDW does have the Sonic license, it would at least make sense that they'd have some involvement.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the involvement is just managing access to the artists, like that. It could be
in any
that or
case.
something.
I'm perfectly content to move on to IDW because, yeah, their future is in doubt because of the latest thing, a bunch of things, but the latest thing being Diamond Distribution's bankruptcy.
See, a lot of comic companies or futures are in doubt right now thanks to Diamond's bankruptcy.
Yeah. So.
To be honest, IDW's not helping themselves with that new logo. Have you seen that one yet?
Yeah, it's not great. But
yeah, put that one up on the screen. I mean,
GX.
I'm looking at it and I see LD. I don't see IDW anywhere on there.
But GX, you said that you told me that you read up on the report. So why don't you lead us through this one?
Okay. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to put this logo up. It's fine. You can look it up yourself if you want. Just search IDW new logo. But to start things off, IDW was not in a good place already. For years they've kind of had their ups and downs, mostly downs. They had a bit of a boon with certain licenses they have, seeing like multimedia releases on like Netflix partnerships and stuff. But as of late, like Sonic and Ninja Turtles have been their top performers, and there hasn't been a whole lot else.
I guess I'm thinking of Godzilla too, because God, they have like 3 or 4 different titles of Godzilla every single month now.
Yeah. Surprising that they don't try to do that with Sonic, but I don't know.
Sonic's only got Sonic and a few specials, but it's regulated to 1 title per month, where Ninja Turtles got a Mutation Nation thing, their current brand new Ninja Turtles a relaunch, and the Saturday morning Ninja Turtles Adventures.
Yeah.
It is said that there's just certain circumstances keeping them from going more than one monthly book, but that's gonna have to change before they can do that. So yeah, I'm thinking it might be a thing imposed by Sega.
It might be like
possible, because their licensing is very strict with it.
Yeah.
But so as I recall, Diamond has gone bankrupt, and they have passed the debts. Some of the debts.
So okay.
Okay.
So to give additional context, Diamond is effectively one of the if not the single biggest comic distributors in in comics today. There was a large portion of time where they functionally had a monopoly, which sounds bad.
They were a monopoly.
Yes, which sounds bad and is for the reasons that we're now experiencing, but also it's kind of a little bit complex because they were very friendly to the stores that they serviced, and a lot of actual comic book stores have very high opinions of their relationship with Diamond.
The comic book guy I knew had a very low opinion of them.
Okay, I mean, like I said, it's complex. It's complex. There may be good reasons, there may be bad reasons. Largely, the good reasons have largely been the ability that, or basically the ways in which that they kind of were able to extend credit to struggling comic shops that were having pandemic related issues. However, they were still a monopoly, so if you wanted to get into publishing comics, well, you kind of had to go through them. And
as I understand it, like the way they handled COVID is a big reason why a bunch of companies left them for Random House.
And I
or is it Penguin?
And I believe IDW was one of those.
They were, and it seems like what happened was that
Random House
so
basically subcontract is like, okay, let's just subcontract Diamond and have them handle it.
And then Diamond went bankrupt. Can't pay the money can't pay the money to Penguin. Now Penguin's going to pass that debt on to onto the comic book publishers.
Yeah, like IDW purchase service. It sounds like that's not going to be delivered, and that means they're not going to be able to sell the comics that they need to sell or fulfill obligations that already exist. So. That's bad. If you're already kind of stretched, that's real bad.
Oh, yeah.
IDW makes some cool stuff, and that's very concerning to me.
Like I at this point, it just feels like they need some kind of buyout.
I know Diamond right now is trying to get that. I believe their expectation is, if they don't have someone that can close a purchase by, I believe, April, then that's it for them. I don't know if that has changed since from the last article I read, for IDW to be able to say like, oh, things aren't good here in a financial assessment. It's sort of a combined issue where SEGA has probably obviously, hey, I care about comic artists and individuals managing comics, which is a very limited field right now, losing jobs. So all the sympathy in the world to people going through that. If you are purely concerned about the nature of the Sonic comic continuing, on one hand, SEGA is in a very good position, a much better position than they would have ever bothered to be in with Archie, at transplanting it to a different publisher if they have to.
GX?
Yes.
GX, your sound is going in and out right now.
It will not matter to the people listening on the stream because they get my voice raw. So don't worry.
Okay, cool.
But the problem is,
like I would think,
but the bigger problem is, what happens when everyone's turbo effed? like obviously IDW is not doing great, but you can tell like this is going to impact other people. This is going to impact other publishers.
Yeah, but like are
like Diamond Comics like, right now? I was gonna say Diamond Comics right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Are any of the other publishers in long-term dire financial straits? Like, is Boom also already struggling?
I don't know. I will look.
Oh yeah, I think they are. And now Diamond Comics, who produce a lot of like Disney stuff now, like the latest Zootopia, and that they're seeing their comics getting delayed by a week or two at certain comic stores just because of this Diamond fiasco.
Well, that's
Hmm.
that's a lot of people have been dealing with, and it's one of the biggest complaints revolving Diamond right now is basically they aren't delivering on time, things are getting delayed, and it's not necessarily the comic publisher that's dealing with it, it's a distribution problem. So, I don't see any
It's interesting. We have several publishers here in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and yet our comic book stores are seeing the comics from those publishers like a week or two later than from other U.S. territories.
Hmm.
Ironically,
But I would guess that Sega could probably go to Boom or Dark Horse, and like maybe the new comic would need some kind of soft reboot. You know, like
you know
where they guess like kind of start the numbering over and maybe drop some plot lines. I don't know.
you know who owns Dark Horse. You know who owns Dark
I
Horse.
don't actually.
You don't remember who owns Dark Horse.
I forgot. Yeah.
It's the European Omni conglomerate that is who was it that bought THQ Nordic?
Oh, THQ Nordic.
Wait, hold on. I need to look this up. Who is THQ Nordic's former parent company? Embracer Group. Dark Horse was embraced. Let's not forget that that's not a good position to be in either.
Yeah, true. Well, I don't know. Maybe DC.
That
I don't know if they do license kids books.
oh no!
Dark
Things
Horse,
aren't healthy at Warner either.
If Sonic went to Dark Horse, I'd be trying to apply over there since they're Portland based, and I'm like a half hour away from their main.
I don't know.
building.
Maybe Sega just buys IDW.
I don't know if Sega's in position to do that.
I mean,
They just
like,
bought an Angry Birds.
Yeah, but
They
IDW
haven't
is a
done
pretty
much
small
with it
purchase
yet.
compared to that.
There's a lot of comic book companies in a little bit of financial straits right now.
There's no kidding.
That's-
No kidding. I can't imagine why. It's like there was a major pandemic.
In any case, like apparently IDW does have some some more shows in development and stuff. So hopefully, either someone picks them up or they are able to just keep on trucking.
I hope. Like I would like us to not lose a whole bunch of comic book makers.
Yeah, that would really suck, especially in an industry that's already as disrespected as it is.
Yeah.
So moving on, Sonic Shadow Generations got some good sales news over the past couple of weeks. First off, Sega has confirmed that it has moved 2 million units, which already puts it ahead of the numbers that Sonic Generations reported at the end of Sega's fiscal year back in 2012. So it's doing better than the original game, at least.
It's not surprising. Like, hey, it's a good idea to have a game that is aligned with this current movie that's doing very well.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the people this is some of the most positive buzz I've ever heard about a Sonic game almost ever in my time being aware of Sonic reporting and Sonic criticism.
Yeah. I still really like the game. What you say,
I was gonna say I got nephews that are obsessed with that game.
Good.
Well, a 4-year-old is usually terrible at video games, and he was bragging the other day to me that he beat Sonic X Shadow. I'm like, are you sure?
Man.
And so I watched him play. He can beat the one level, the first level, but still, for him at 4, that's really good because his skills up like in Mario Kart and these other games are terrible, but he enjoys Sonic and Shadow so much that he just pushed himself really hard to beat those levels.
So I have a question.
That's cute.
What console do they own the game on?
Nintendo Switch.
That's not surprising because Nintendo Switch seems to have been the primary driver in sales. It was the 6th best-selling game in the US for December, up from 8th place in November, but beyond that, it was the 4th best-selling Switch game for December.
Yeah, you
Huh.
know what? That was my first time actually watching it. The Switch gameplay was when they were playing it, and outside of being 30 frames a second, it's really solid. It looks exactly like the other ones, just at 30 FPS.
That is kind of surprising to
It's a
me
really
because
good port.
I, I do think the game on PS5 looks really good.
They
Yeah.
they create systems that scale very well. Like they emphasize that as something that they want to do and want to prioritize, and they succeed at it. Like, say whatever you want about the draw distance in the Switch version of Sonic Frontiers.
Frontier.
That thing works on Switch. Like, it works. The fact that it runs is more than a lot of other open world adjacent games can say that aren't made primarily with Switch in mind.
Yeah, it's not Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch here. It's really solid. I mean, I would YouTube
It's
Mortal
not
Kombat
Sonic
1
Colors
Switch just to
Ultimate on
see.
Switch. Remember that?
Well, that at least that got patched to the hell and back to being fixed. But yeah,
Yeah.
What game?
Um.
Sonic Colors.
Oh, I thought you said Smash Brothers Ultimate. Okay. I was like, no, Smash Brothers Ultimate like runs fine. I was like, what are we talking about? But no, Colors. Whoo boy.
Yeah, that had some issues on
Yeah,
Switch.
that was really bad out the gate.
So, I guess we're gonna end things off with some merch news. Some merch news. One thing I am happy about. One thing that I guess you guys might be happy about because it's Lego. But so we are getting standalone Soap Shoe Sonic from Jack Specific. But more
F off.
importantly, we are also getting a masked Trip action figure, which I find interesting. Because one thing I was wondering was like, okay, like how are they going to do Trip? Are they going to do her with or without the mask? And they're doing her. They're doing her with it, at least for the moment. And um, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that she's already getting a toy. I kind of want this if it's actually
Yeah, it
going to
looks
be
like it's part of
available
the
in
2-inch
stores.
figures like Knack's,
Yeah,
which I had to hunt down a little bit, but I did get a Knack 2-inch.
I've never seen a knack. Which means
Yeah, I
we're
was
probably never
lucky.
going to see this either.
My local Walmart had one.
But I guess I hope we eventually get an unmasked one because that's
Yeah.
I really do like her character design. And finally, we are getting a Crabmeat Lego
It,
posable.
so
A giant enemy crab. A really, really big crab meat.
it's so it's a reasonable size for like a small and this is kind of predicted to be, hey, this is probably going to be a gift with purchase. Lego has been very big on their gift with purchases, perhaps
I don't know what
excessively
that is.
so. They frequently have deals where it's like, hey, spend a certain amount of money at the Lego store or online and you will get an additional set. And a lot of collectors usually save up purchases for around the time that they release a gift with purchase or double reward points or stuff
So
like that.
so I could buy the
I'm making
Bio
sure.
Lizard and then also
Yeah,
get this maybe.
Maybe.
if you got a Lego store nearby, give them your email when you do that. And you can save up a lot of credits towards other stuff. I hadn't used my points in a long time, and I recently got the red Mario Kart set for it's normally 20, and then I used my points and I got it down to 12, so that's pretty good.
I think
And
it looks pretty neat. Sorry, go on.
yeah,
It's cute and goofy.
what makes people think it's a gift with purchase?
It's a combination of its product number. It's in the 4,000. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. It's in the 4,000s range. It's product number 40781, and I think the 4,000s are, but also because it is like less than 200 bricks. which would put it,
It's usually
yeah,
usually puts it at what, the $15 to $20 range.
yeah, something like that. That seems like it would. It seems like a weird thing to sell on its own. That you wouldn't include it with like a bigger set or a
Yeah,
minifigure or
I
something.
can see that.
That
I can see
to
that.
just have it be separate like that, combined with the fact that like it doesn't have a whole lot of unique printed pieces or anything. Like you get the turtle, but they're already making the turtle for other sets. And usually
Hmm.
most Lego sets have at least one unique piece, be it like a specific minifig or specific printed piece or like a specific sticker sheet or something like that. There's nothing on here to really suggest that it's like, hey, this is something super special or crazy. So yeah, like it's at least believable to be a gift with purchase.
I
Yeah,
like how the
I can see
flicky
that.
goes inside of it.
Oh, they do that for all of the brick built enemy, all the brick
Which
built
I really like.
badniks.
I
Oh,
really
I
like
wasn't
that
aware
they
there
do
were
that with the
others.
badniks.
Yeah,
Huh.
Yeah,
sometimes it.
pretty much all the badniks you could put a little. You put a little of the flickies or whatever they're called in there. The critters.
Hmm.
But yeah, so hey, they haven't announced anything like at the beginning of the month yet, and yeah, I can go back and confirm. I'm looking at the previous gift with purchases. They're all 40,000 range ones. Like the only exceptions are ones that specifically go to are gift with purchase with a very specific set. So like the more generic Lego fireworks celebration set is a 40,000 product code set. But the Dungeons and Dragons mimic box that goes with the Dungeons and Dragons specialty set, that's a 5 million code set or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's a big ass number. So, but yeah, this very much looks like a gift with purchase. So keep an eye out, and if you really want this, it'll probably be sometime this month. Is my assumption.
All right.
Where it's
I'm gonna keep an eye out for it because I've been kind of wanting to get a Sonic Lego set for a bit, and if I can get this for free with it, that would probably tempt me further.
I'm guessing. Given the number of parts associated with it, I'm guessing like maybe a $75 purchase or something.
Ah, okay, so I probably need to get two sets.
Maybe
Hmm.
that would be my guess for a 200 or 180 licensed gift with purchase. But also, as was pointed out in a recent post on one of the Lego blogs I follow, hey, most Legos that we have in North America right now, until a new Virginia-based manufacturing plant opens in late this year, most Legos are made in Mexico, and
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
a certain orange dumbass is looking to create some sort of basically import fight. And make
Yeah,
everything more expensive
trade war.
in hopes that it will somehow spark greater U.S. value somehow.
Well, jokes on him. Apparently, we're already working on a U.S. Lego factory.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Now I guess Mattel is doing their own Lego thing, kind of of course separate from Lego, but same thing with the bricks and all that, but not the Mega Blocks.
But are they doing it in
So,
the U.S.? is the question.
No.
unless we have anything else to say about the Legos, I would just like to say the thing that distracted me earlier was that apparently a digital gaming storefront has a Sonic Heroes remake listing, and it's probably nothing, but like I don't know.
It's
Maybe we'll be talking
Probably
about that
nothing.
more next time.
weird. Yeah,
Aren't Legos also originated from Denmark?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it doesn't matter if they're not
Okay.
made there. Like, that's not really the concern for import goods in the same way.
Although maybe they can like shift production to their European factories, assuming those exist.
I mean, Lego. The thing is, Lego has gone hard for the Chinese market. Like in the last couple years, they have introduced every year they have a lot of Chinese New Year exclusive sets, and you can still buy them in the West, but they are very, very much aimed at a Chinese audience. And they created a new set with its entire cartoon series that is currently on its 5th season, specifically for the Chinese market. So I am thinking Lego is also very much hedging its bets.
Watch that because the animation seems top notch on that
Oh,
one.
I've seen a little bit of Monkey Kid. Like the animation in it's neat. Like they interpret it's still the minifig type characters, but they interpret them through
Oh, yeah.
2D animation. So
I actually really like how that show looks.
It reminds me of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a little bit in its action.
yeah, it doesn't actually act like Lego, but the characters are still minifigs, so they just bend and warp in very cartoony ways. It's kind of neat looking, but I don't know if it's any good despite owning several sets of it because they've made a lot of cool mechs for that. I think it's it.
In any
think
case,
we're done.
If y'all are done with your Lego discussion, yeah, I think we're
I'm
done.
never done with my Lego discussion.
Well, you're done tonight.
Damn it.
GX. I'm putting my foot down.
Dang, you got me. I'm gonna have to talk about other construction toys.
Funko Pops.
We're getting big into Creo. I don't think Creo exists anymore.
The Lego
Well, I haven't
version
built
of
my
Funko
Master
Pops.
Emerald shrine because we still don't have quite all the Christmas decorations down yet. Because my brother and sister-in-law have been going to the convention, so they haven't had a lot of time for house cleaning as of late. So
I spent
I'm still waiting to make a few different Lego sets.
I spent a portion of my unemployment working on the botanical collection because I love the Lego botanical collection quite a lot.
I don't have any of them, but I do really like those. I kind of want to get the succulents.
I really don't understand you people.
I make nice flowers.
You and your Legos.
It's great. I made nice
Lego
flowers.
flowers are cool.
They are very cool, especially whenever they come with the little pot that you also get to build. So there you go. We got extra Lego discussion time. Ha
Actually, that's because I'm a very laid-back host. Once we're on the final subject,
You can't control me. You're not my real dad.
I mean, technically, like I only try to get things done quickly because of you two. In any case,
So, hey, everything that we do with Sonic, our opinions are our own, but everything else on Sonic Talk is under the banner of Sonic Stadium over at sonicstadium.org. You can catch one of the internet's longest run fan communities. We've got news, we've got forums, we've got Discord, we've got other streams coming up in the next month or so. We've got some, some solid videos, and yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot going on. It's at least finally slowing down a little bit, but that doesn't mean there's not anything.
Yes, it's been nice, and like this does seem like it does seem like these bi-monthly videos are starting to work out.
We are almost at the end of the fiscal year of Shadow.
Yes, right. That SEGA did confirm that in their PR email.
Honestly, with
year of Shadow, that's
with
pretty
the
good.
bank it's doing, they might as well just call it the fiscal year of Shadow.
like I think I speculated on this like an episode or two ago, as well. Like technically,
yeah, you might have, but
it started in April.
But yeah, hey, if you liked what we were doing here, give it a like. If you really liked what we're doing, give it a subscribe. If you really liked it, or if you didn't like it, then I don't know, put in a comment or something. Tell me how I'm a dick.
But be nice. be
At
nice.
GX, he's...
And also, don't complain about me being too negative. I am not too negative. I'm probably the most positive person.
Yeah, that's my role. Don't let him crib on my role.
Yeah.
That's like one of the only comments we've ever gotten now. It's very sad.
I mean, we got to have GX be the crabby one. He's the
It's...
life serial equivalent of Mikey.
What?
If anybody knows that reference.
No, that's the funniest thing, because I might be the biggest naysayer here, but also in the broader Nintendo focused forums, I'm like the most positive Sonic person there. Like,
that's because Nintendo fans are mean to Sonic fans.
Be an influence. Maybe that influences you in some way.
Yeah. Spend more time with the Sonic people.
Oh, trust me, there is no way in hell that I need to spend more time with the Sonic people for my own health.
Spend more time with the Steven Universe people.
I am a centrist, and I think I am apparently a centrist, and apparently the center is how I act here. Me acting here is being the centrist.
Well, no, here you're like the far right.
Oh dear God, no. We didn't. No,
I will not on the Sonic opinion spectrum.
I will accept a lot of claims, sir. If you want to say I'm a grouch, okay, sure. If you want to claim that I'm out there giving a Nazi salute in front of millions of people,
no, not like the political far right. I mean, like a Sonic opinions far right.
I don't think I'm that conservative.
Sonic is getting too woke.
No, I'm not that conservative in what I think about Sonic. I'm extremely liberal. I'm more liberal than most people in what I want to see about Sonic.
Yeah, but like in the context of Sonic Talk itself, in our political spectrum here between the three of us, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm ready for them to like dramatically shift Sonic in some major way. So.
Oh, okay. I guess that's true.
Yeah. I will not accept a right-leaning Sonic accusation here when I'm the person ready to throw out everything that is Sonic and trade it for something entirely different.
The modern political far right wants to throw out lots of stuff too, but of course their ideas are bad. I agree with most of what you want to do.
Well, now that we've made scathing political accusations without ending a show, I think we should end the show.
Yes, we should end the show. All right. So this has been Sonic Talk. We will be back in 2 weeks, probably. So catch us then.
And coming up soon, Sega Sonic Radio will be back.
Oh, good! Finally,
I took my month off. I usually need a month to recover after the end of the year, and I have a couple things in the back of my head that I would like to do that require a little bit more setup for other types of streams and just me getting into the right mental place. But it should be fun. I know one of the things I've been wanting to do is I want to chase some retro achievements. We've got someone in the Discord who's been going through and getting all the retro achievements for other Sonic games. I was like, I do like retro achievements. That sounds like fun. I might try to do that for content. So yeah.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
Look forward to it.
All right.
Look forward to stuff. I don't know when, and I won't give a time here, but stuff in future.
Okay. So until next time, I guess we are up, over, and away.
Hey, that's also my thing. You can't steal that.
I said away. You say up, over, and gone.
Dang. Uncle's cribbing my stuff.
Gotta end fast. There now.
No, you don't. No. We don't want to.
I'm joking, for God's sake.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast is fine. Let's not say gotta end fast. That has a different meaning. Peace, everyone.